Getting into the introduction, so Robert Iger, who was the COO in 2005 and later appointed to the CEO, wanted to create a new vision for Disney. He created the 3 pillars of strategy, which was creative content, innovation and technology, and international expansion. The problem that Disney was facing is that they were trying to pull their movies from Netflix in order to help promote Disney Plus. This creates a big risk for Disney because by taking the movies off of Netflix, if nobody wants to keep paying for Disney Plus, then the movies will not be streamed anymore. So later we'll get into some recommendations that we have created for Disney to use for this issue.
On October 16, 1923, Walt Disney and his brother Roy founded the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studios in Hollywood, California. The studio, now known as Walt Disney Company, has inspired exponential success and impact on the entertainment industry while becoming one of the largest media companies in the world. In 1937, another major turning point for the Disney Company came with the release of the world's first full-length animated cartoon in Technicolor. This film made Disney $80 million and won 8 Oscars. With $60 million in animated revenues, Disney was able to establish itself as a leader in the American animation industry before diversifying. They were able to acquire dozens of companies in the 90s and 2000s, owning and operating ABC, ESPN, Pixar, Marvel Studios, and Lucasfilm. More recently, Disney gained controlling ownership of Hulu. Not only did Disney obtain this partnership, but they also have thrived to roll on its own streaming service called Disney Plus in November 2019. This service was primarily aimed to distribute films and television series produced by Walt Disney Company, with the service also advertising contents from the company's Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic brands. In the effort to disassociate themselves from other streaming services, Disney Plus is focused mainly on family entertainment based around Disney brands.
Walt Disney was viewed by millions as the icon of American ingenuity due to his uniqueness and magical touch. After a failed attempt of obtaining a job in 1923, Walt Disney joined forces with his brother and founded Disney Brothers Cartoon Studios. As the head of the company, Walt was a vastly influential leader with an extremely strong work ethic. He took on a different approach during his time running the company, taking on a more flat, non-hierarchical meritocracy. With this method, he held each of his employees to the highest of professional standards while also protecting the instillment of creativity, quality, teamwork, communication, and cooperation. His employees became family to one another and never lost sight of the overall goals and values of what Disney meant to incorporate. Continuing down the line of important figures, we come to Michael Eisner, who was the CEO of Disney in 1984. Eisner helped push Disney to new heights in terms of their revenue rates while continuing to emphasize the key factors that Disney admired so much. His first major collaborating event was when he started by revitalizing Disney's television programming and animated films. In the eyes of the film studio business, Eisner single-handedly raised Disney's share from 4% in 1984 to 19% in '88, making Disney the Hollywood market leader. He also invested $30 million in computer animated production systems that soon thereafter produced some of Disney's most famous princess films like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. Not everything was as positive as it seemed, though, as he not only struggled to gain an alliance with his employees, but he also lost faith from all his stakeholders who were publicly displeased due to the fact that they felt the branding is what you do when you lack originality and high quality content, something that has evidently robbed Disney of its magic. With our list of important figures, we come to our final member, Robert Iger. He was appointed the Walt Disney Company CEO in 2005 after previously having served as Chief Operating Officer. Having the knowledge of how destructive Michael Eisner's methods were under his reign, Iger established a new vision and strategic direction for Disney. With this insight, he articulated 3 pillars of strategies that he felt would perfectly align with Walt Disney's original vision for the company. These were 1. Creative content, 2. Technology innovation, and 3. International expansion. With the 3 combined, Iger felt he would become unstoppable under the Disney brand towards a global reach. One of those changes included the implementation with the box office component. He articulated a corporate strategy to pursue billion-dollar franchises, generally working from a big movie hit to then creating the associated theme park rides, video games, toys, and etc. Noticing that this strategy was working, Iger classified a group of about 20 executives whose sole responsibility was to hunt down these next million-dollar franchises. Some of the biggest Disney franchises that started under Iger include the Pirates of the Caribbean, Monsters Incorporated, and Frozen. With all the successes coming in the door, Iger delayed his retirement from Disney 5 times because he knew he wasn't quite finished. One of Disney's harshest disruptions to the brand would be the streaming war they encounter. Having Netflix and Hulu already in the game prior to the addition of Disney Plus, the entry became very cutthroat in comparison to such established players. One of the biggest issues Disney faced was within the industry that each of the competing streaming services developed their own programs to act as an advertisement for their subscriptions. For example, shows such as Netflix's 13 Reasons Why or Amazon's Transparent have all gained considerable popularity since they can only be found on the corresponding platforms, something unfortunately Disney does not contain. In 2019, the clear market leader in streaming services was Netflix with over 150 million subscribers. Right off the bat, a company like Disney would fall stumbling to their knees because they do not have these keen features associated with their services. Even though the streaming services will be half the price of Netflix's monthly subscription fee, the newfound technological changes eradicated all hopes for perseverance within a completely new market. The switch from cable to streaming has caused a decline in viewership from almost all Disney-branded channels. This becomes a huge issue within the competing industry because it ignites the question of why should someone choose to subscribe to Disney Plus when there are other streaming services who dispose better offers, while simultaneously including many of the movies and shows that Disney Plus has. It has become evident that Disney lost the magical touch over the years of transitioning to a new technological world, but there are high hopes that, with the right changes and implementations, could one day rise back to the rightful title of being the leader in the industry.
Although the decline of the movie industry is very prominent, it is important for Disney to continue to create more live-action movies that can be released via Disney Plus for an added fee. Some of Disney's first full-length animated cartoons were Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, and Fantasia. Creating many of these movies in live-action updated form would bring a nostalgic touch to the magic of Disney and promote an older audience that has watched Disney grow from the beginning. Having a wide age demographic that reaches an entire family would ensure a family would be more likely to pay the extra fees and watch new movies from the comfort of their own homes. For these new movie remakes, Disney will compete for talent, but diversifying character is also a large social norm that consumers are beginning to demand. For this reason, hiring a diverse array of actors will promote families in our current climate to be interested in purchasing the movies to watch from home.
Disney should put a focus towards their strategic business units within the organization that are easily able to thrive during COVID-19. Since the company depends on America for most of its revenues, focus should be put on generating revenue from their most profitable strategic business unit that can still function well during the pandemic. Most of Disney's revenues come from its media network strategic business unit, and since the pandemic does not have a clear negative impact on people using these networks, the company should put effort towards generating the majority of their revenue through this strategic business unit. This is especially important because their second highest revenue in 2018 came from parks and resorts, which will not continue to generate high amounts of revenue in the short term due to the pandemic. With COVID-19 keeping people at home to quarantine, Disney should expect their revenues from media networks to remain a large part of their total revenue, thus being pivotal for the company's short-term plans for growth and stabilization during the pandemic.
Disney should focus on partnering with another media company instead of expanding their market by purchasing them. Their partnership with Pixar was successful for years and allowed them to make additional profits in numerous ways. This partnership allowed Disney to make additional profits in numerous ways because of their approach. This formulaic strategy involved a successful blockbuster movie, which allowed Disney to follow up with shows, merchandise, and opportunities for spin-offs. Disney's new CEO, Bob Chapek, is known to be more direct and lacks creativity, which separates him from former CEOs. An alliance or partnership with another media company implements a collaborative environment to write a successful blockbuster, saves Disney money on filmmaking, makes Disney money on merchandise, and avoids spending billions of dollars to acquire other companies. Growing their consumer product sales will give them a boost from their last reported 4% loss in 2017.
Due to the Walt Disney Company's studio entertainment section boasting a 90% growth over the prior year due to acquisition contributions, this is an area Walt Disney can continue to capitalize on. This section produces live-action animated movies as well as musical recordings and live stage plays. This section distributes films from Walt Disney Pictures, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Touchstone. Due to the studio entertainment section revenue coming from distributions of films to theaters, home entertainment, stage play tickets, music distribution, and licensing of intellectual property, these last few criteria might decline due to COVID-19. But Disney has the opportunity to capitalize on distribution of movies via home entertainment while families are spending more time at home due to COVID. Live-action movies and additions of new characters that follow Robert Iger's vision for billion-dollar franchises have proved to be successful for Disney in the past, and these acquisitions can continue to stand true. The 2012 acquisition of Lucasfilm successfully grossed revenues, which added Star Wars characters to the deck. If Disney continues to follow these acquisitions of new characters to add into a franchise on the long term, their revenue will continue to increase.
In order for Disney to increase its revenue, they should implement short-term strategies during the pandemic and long-term strategies to sustain their success for the distant future. During COVID-19, streaming platforms have been popular among consumers. The Disney Plus streaming service has gained a lot of support, but the company needs to increase their profitability rate by avoiding the use of competitors' web and cloud services. In addition to this, Disney should create and release more live-action movies on the platform to entice younger and older viewers alike. With that being said, it is important that Disney ensures that the characters in the new movies come from a diverse background in order to promote inclusiveness. Also, during the pandemic, Disney should focus on the strategic business unit that would generate the most revenue in this climate. Focusing on the media networks will allow them to thrive and stabilize during COVID-19. In regards to sustaining that success for the long run, Disney should take advantage of partnership opportunities with other media companies. Partnerships will promote creativity, multiple streams of revenue, and save them money on production costs. In addition to this, capitalizing on the distribution of movies will help boost revenue due to more families opting for home entertainment. Lastly, Disney should focus on expanding their international market. Disney has been extremely successful domestically and needs to mirror that success on a global scale. Overall, with the use of these recommendations, Disney would be able to create more revenue and be sustainable for many years to come.